Mercury has entered Virgo, and from now until September 10th, the universe is shifting our attention away from noise and toward what is actually true. And this is not a weak Mercury transit. In traditional astrology, Mercury both rules Virgo and is exalted in Virgo, making this one of the messenger planet's strongest positions. So if Mercury in Leo wanted to be heard, Mercury in Virgo wants to make sure what is being said is accurate. It wants the facts. It wants the missing detail. It wants the unfinished conversation resolved, the paperwork corrected, the system reorganized, the health routine reconsidered, and the thing you have been avoiding finally handled properly. From August 25th through September 10th, the collective mind becomes more discerning. We move from dramatic expression toward precision, from listen to me toward does this actually make sense? And if something in your life has been chaotic, confusing, inefficient, disorganized, or simply not working, Mercury in Virgo may show you exactly where the problem is. But stay until the end, because I'm going through all 12 zodiac signs, and depending on your sign, Mercury is targeting a completely different area of your life. And if you know your rising sign, listen for that one first, because these house predictions are especially useful by rising sign. Then listen for your sun sign as the broader secondary message. Mercury entered Virgo on August 25th and remains here until September 10th. Virgo is mutable earth. It takes information and asks, how can this be improved? How can this become useful? What is unnecessary? What needs correction? What detail have we overlooked? That means the next couple of weeks are particularly supportive for anything requiring concentration and precision. Paperwork, accounting, contracts, organizing, editing, studying, scheduling, troubleshooting, budgeting, researching, cleaning up your inbox, reviewing your calendar, restructuring a business system, or finally having the conversation where you need to say exactly what you mean. This is also a beautiful transit for going back over something you already created and making it better. Mercury in Virgo understands that refinement is not failure. Editing does not mean the original idea was wrong. Sometimes the difference between something that almost works and something that finally works is one tiny correction. And Virgo notices that correction. Communication may become more practical during this period. People may become less interested in grand declarations and more interested in details. Not just, I love you, but how are we actually making this relationship work? Not just, I want to grow my business, but what exactly am I doing every day that creates that growth? Not just, I want to feel healthier, but what habits am I repeatedly practicing? Virgo brings the abstract down into the physical world, and because Mercury is currently moving direct and already cleared its previous post-retrograde shadow on August 7th, we are in a much cleaner Mercury cycle than we were earlier this summer. The next Mercury retrograde does not begin until October 24th, although its pre-shadow begins around October 4th. So this period is not asking us to fear communication. It is asking us to become more conscious of it. Say what you mean, read what you sign, check the details, ask the second question, verify the information, and do not assume that because something sounds convincing, it must be true. There is another major Virgo theme here, the body. Virgo has long been associated astrologically with routines, maintenance, health, nourishment, and the relationship between our daily choices and our physical well-being. So many people may suddenly become much more aware of their habits. You may want to reorganize your meals, return to exercise, clean your environment, book an appointment you have postponed, research something you have been meaning to understand, change your sleep schedule, or simply remove some of the unnecessary chaos that has been draining your nervous system. But Mercury in Virgo has a shadow, and that shadow is perfectionism, overthinking, hyperanalysis, constantly correcting yourself, finding one flaw inside something that is otherwise beautiful, turning discernment into criticism, and thinking that if you analyze something long enough, you can somehow remove every uncertainty from life. You cannot. Mercury in Virgo gives us a scalpel. Use it to cut away what is unnecessary. Do not use it against yourself, because there is an enormous difference between self-awareness and self-attack. Now there are several important dates inside this transit. August 25th was the entrance point. Mercury crossed from Leo into Virgo, creating a mental reset. This is where the mind begins moving from performance toward precision. Mercury also formed a supportive trine to Chiron shortly after entering Virgo, so there can be an opportunity to put language around something you previously struggled to understand or articulate. A new routine, organizational structure, writing project, research process, or practical goal initiated around this entrance can benefit from Virgo's desire to improve through repetition. Then we arrive at August 27th, and this is one of the most important days of the transit. Mercury meets the Sun in Virgo. This is the Mercury Cazimi, Mercury entering the heart of the Sun. Traditionally, Cazimi has been treated as a condition of exceptional potency. Symbolically, something becomes illuminated, a piece of information, a realization, a conversation, a missing detail, a sudden understanding of something you have been trying to solve. So pay attention to what becomes obvious around August 27th. Write things down, listen carefully. An answer may arrive quietly rather than dramatically. Because Virgo rarely screams the truth, sometimes it simply places the correct piece of information directly in front of you. And then comes August 28th. This is where the energy becomes much more volatile. We have a Pisces full moon partial lunar eclipse at approximately 4 degrees 54 minutes Pisces, directly opposite the Virgo Sun, and Mercury in Virgo squares Uranus in Gemini. That combination is extremely interesting. Mercury governs information, Uranus disrupts patterns, and eclipses can coincide astrologically with culminations, revelations, reversals, endings, or information surfacing that changes the direction of something. So August 28th has the symbolism of a mental lightning strike, unexpected news, a sudden realization, a conversation that changes direction, technology behaving unpredictably, a schedule being rewritten, something you thought was settled revealing another layer, or an idea arriving so quickly that you suddenly understand the situation differently. The brilliance of Mercury square Uranus is innovation. The difficulty is overstimulation. So if something surprising happens, observe before reacting. You do not have to turn every revelation into an immediate, irreversible decision, especially because this is happening beside an eclipse. Allow new information to settle. And remember the Virgo-Pisces axis underneath this eclipse. Virgo says, show me the evidence. Pisces says, there are things you cannot understand through logic alone. Virgo analyzes, Pisces intuitively senses, Virgo separates, Pisces dissolves, and our work is not to choose one and reject the other. It is to allow discernment and intuition to speak to each other. Then on September 1st, Mercury forms a sextile with Mars in Cancer. This is where thought and action begin cooperating. Something you have been considering may finally need movement. A conversation you rehearsed may finally be ready to happen. An idea may need implementation. You may find it easier to communicate directly without becoming unnecessarily aggressive. Mercury says, here is the plan. Mars says, now do something about it. Then on September 10th, Mercury leaves Virgo and enters Libra. That changes the entire mental atmosphere again. Virgo asks, what is correct? Libra asks, what is fair? Virgo solves the problem. Libra brings another person into the conversation. So September 10th becomes a natural deadline for completing whatever editing, organizing, analyzing, cleaning, correcting, researching, or restructuring this Virgo cycle has revealed. Now, who feels this most? Virgo and Gemini are naturally important because both signs are ruled by Mercury. Virgo may experience an especially strong sense of mental clarity, articulation, and personal direction. Gemini can feel Mercury's movement intensely because its planetary ruler is changing signs and changing priorities. Taurus and Capricorn can work beautifully with Virgo's earth energy because they understand tangible results, practicality, and long-term improvement. And the mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, may feel the mental movement most strongly because Mercury is activating the mutable cross. That can produce adaptability and breakthroughs, but it can also produce nervous energy and overthinking. Now let's go through every sign. Aries. Mercury is moving through your 6th house of work, routines, habits, well-being, responsibilities, and everyday systems. This is your opportunity to repair the machinery of your life. Look at the schedule you keep saying does not work. Look at the habits draining your time. Look at your workspace, your calendar, your health routines, your unfinished administrative work. This is less about beginning 10 exciting new things and more about becoming efficient with what already exists. You could discover a better system at work, restructure your daily routine, become more organized around wellness, or finally complete something you have been repeatedly postponing. But watch your tendency to rush. Virgo does not reward the announcement, it rewards the follow-through. Taurus. Mercury moves through your fifth house of creativity, romance, pleasure, dating, children, passion, and self-expression. And your creativity may suddenly become much more articulate. An idea you could feel but could not explain may finally take form. Writers, creators, teachers, performers, artists, and entrepreneurs with Taurus placements can use this beautifully. Romantically, conversations become more specific. Instead of wondering what somebody wants, ask. Instead of hinting, communicate. You may become clearer about what attracts you and what does not, but be mindful of overanalyzing pleasure. Not every beautiful moment needs to be dissected, and be careful with teasing, jokes, or casual comments. Mercury in Virgo can be sharper than it realizes. Gemini Mercury is your planetary ruler, so when Mercury changes signs, you feel the shift. This transit activates your fourth house: home, family, roots, private life, emotional foundations, and living environment. There may be conversations with family members that finally become more productive. Household arrangements may need reorganizing. Paperwork connected to property, living arrangements, moving, family responsibilities, or your private life may require attention. You could also begin thinking differently about what home actually means to you. Not only where you live physically, but where your nervous system feels safe enough to exhale. Journaling, reflection, family conversations, and clearing physical clutter can reveal more than expected. Cancer. Mercury enters your third house, one of Mercury's natural territories, activating communication, writing, learning, siblings, neighbors, short travel, errands, meetings, texts, phone calls, and everyday information. Your mind can become extremely active. You may be researching more, writing more, talking more, driving more, learning something, teaching something, or suddenly dealing with an influx of messages and conversations. This is excellent for negotiations, studying, content creation, writing, speaking, and finally addressing something you have avoided. But give your mind structure, because without somewhere productive to direct this energy, mental sharpness can become nervous restlessness. Choose the conversation you know needs clarity, then have it. Leo Mercury moves into your second house of money, income, possessions, resources, values, and self-worth. It is time to look at the numbers. This can be excellent for budgeting, revisiting pricing, reviewing expenses, negotiating compensation, restructuring your finances, examining subscriptions, reviewing contracts, or becoming more strategic about how your skills generate income. You may notice a financial detail you previously overlooked. And if you run a business, use this transit to examine whether your systems actually support profitability. But there is a deeper question here. What do you believe you are worth? Because money and self-worth can become psychologically entangled. Do not allow a temporary number in an account to determine your value as a human being. Virgo, this is your transit. Mercury enters your first house and returns to one of the signs it rules. Your voice becomes important. Your decisions become important. Your perspective becomes important. Something that felt mentally cloudy may suddenly become easier to name. You may feel ready to make an announcement, send an application, begin a project, schedule an appointment, have a conversation, change your presentation, clarify your direction, or simply say something you have been holding inside. People may also listen differently because you are expressing yourself with greater precision. But there is one warning. The clearer you become, the louder your inner critic may become too. Do not confuse discernment with inadequacy. Your job is not to become perfect. Your job is to become clear. Libra Mercury moves through your 12th house of subconscious patterns, closure, solitude, dreams, retreat, hidden material, private reflection, and the things happening behind the scenes. This transit may initially feel quieter for you. Do not mistake quiet for inactivity. Your subconscious mind may be extremely busy. You could become aware of a thought pattern you have repeated for years. A private truth may become impossible to ignore. Journaling, meditation, therapy, dream work, research, spiritual practice, and finishing projects privately can be extremely productive. You are preparing for Mercury to enter Libra on September 10th. So before you announce the next chapter, clear the mental clutter from the last one. And if something has been bothering you in a relationship, do not suppress it until resentment speaks for you. Understand it first, then communicate it cleanly. Scorpio Mercury activates your 11th house of friendships, communities, audiences, networks, collaboration, social circles, technology, and future goals. Your conversations with other people may contain important clues about where you are going next. Someone in your network could offer information, introduce an opportunity, challenge your thinking, or help you see a future possibility differently. This is a powerful time for networking, community building, group projects, online communication, and articulating a long-term vision. Ask yourself where you want to be 1 year from now, then reverse engineer the steps. But do not allow the collective voice to become louder than your own discernment. Community is valuable, groupthink is not. Sagittarius, Mercury moves across the top of your chart into your 10th house of career, reputation, leadership, visibility, achievement, and public direction. Professional communication matters now. Emails, interviews, applications, presentations, meetings, negotiations, content, proposals, contracts. People may notice whether you have done your homework. This can be an excellent time to articulate your professional value or reorganize your long-term career strategy. Something about your public direction may become clearer, but read the fine print. Do not assume enthusiasm replaces preparation. Virgo rewards the person who checked the detail everybody else ignored. Capricorn, Mercury activates your 9th house of higher learning, publishing, philosophy, spirituality, travel, education, teaching, law, and the beliefs through which you understand life. You may suddenly become hungry for knowledge. Take the course, study the subject, read the book, research the philosophy, plan the trip, write, teach, publish. Speak with people whose backgrounds and beliefs are different from yours. But here is the deeper invitation. Allow yourself to discover that something you previously believed may need refinement. Wisdom does not mean always having the answer. Sometimes wisdom means becoming sophisticated enough to ask a better question. Aquarius, Mercury moves through your 8th house of shared finances, debt, taxes, investments, inheritance, intimacy, psychological patterns, vulnerability, trust, and energetic exchange. This transit takes you beneath the surface. Financially, joint accounts, debts, taxes, insurance, shared expenses, contracts, or money intertwined with another person may require attention. This is an excellent time to understand what the numbers actually say instead of avoiding them. Psychologically, a deeper conversation may also become necessary. What do you owe another person? What do they owe you? Not only financially, emotionally, energetically, relationally. The truth may be uncomfortable for a moment, but ambiguity is often more exhausting than clarity. Pisces. Mercury enters your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, contracts, clients, collaboration, and one-to-one dynamics. And because Virgo sits directly opposite Pisces, other people become mirrors during this transit. You are naturally sensitive to tone, emotion, atmosphere, symbolism, and what remains unsaid. Mercury in Virgo asks you to translate that sensitivity into actual language. Do not say, "You should know how I feel." Say how you feel. Do not hope they understand the hint. Make the request. Do not assume the agreement. Define it. Relationships can benefit enormously from specific communication now, and because the August 28th lunar eclipse occurs in Pisces, while Mercury opposes that territory from Virgo, you may experience an especially important realization about the balance between self and partnership. Something may culminate, something may need clarification, something may need release, or you may finally understand a relational pattern that has been repeating for much longer than you realized. So from now until September 10th, remember what Mercury in Virgo is teaching us. Clarity is power, precision is power, discernment is power. The willingness to correct yourself when new information arrives is power. And sometimes transformation does not begin with a dramatic revelation. Sometimes it begins when you notice the one small detail that explains why the entire system has not been working. Use this transit to clean the signal, organize what has become chaotic, finish what is unfinished, say what you actually mean. Listen closely to what others are actually saying. And when the August 28th eclipse brings emotion and Mercury square Uranus brings unexpected information, do not rush to force certainty. Observe, discern, let the pattern reveal itself. Because Mercury in Virgo is not here to make your mind louder. It is here to make your perception sharper. If this reading found you at the right moment, tell me your sun and rising sign in the comments and tell me which part already feels like it is unfolding. And follow Mystic Empath Guide for planetary weather, esoteric astrology, symbolism, consciousness, and deeper teachings on how to work with these cycles instead of unconsciously reacting to them. Save this video and come back to it on August 27th, August 28th, September 1st, and September 10th, because those are the dates when this Mercury story becomes especially important.